What's up, everybody? This is Bill Mack here once again with another WWE report. This is dealing with the report for last night's WWE BackLash. That is a SmackDown pay-per-view. As it actually overall, in my personal opinion, I thought it was a really good pay-per-view. It being the first SmackDown brand pay-per-view of the new era. Not the very first one because we've had numerous drafts before, but of the new era. This is the first one. I actually thought it was a really good. Everything told a really good story. I thought the matches were actually done pretty well. I didn't really see a whole major fault. With the pay per view at all, watching it. So we'll just get right into the report. I'll give you my opinions and the results of the matchup for those who weren't able to watch it. First up, we see at the beginning of pay per view is Shane McMahon come out. He is followed by Daniel Bryan, of course, having the SmackDown Commissioner and SmackDown GM to open the show up, and they were kind of thanking everybody for being there and thanking everybody for attending and watching, on television. As this is the first SmackDown labeled pay-per-view, Backlash of the new era, as I had mentioned. Thanking everybody for making it a success, and as basically this rivalry with Raw. So they welcome everybody in. It was pretty good open to the show. Right off the bat, we have the women's first ever six-pack challenge for the women's SmackDown Women's Championship. This was one of the titles SmackDown created. As we know, the WWE Women's Champion went to Raw, so SmackDown was decided that it was going to have its own women's champion, as it has a women's roster as well as SmackDown tag team titles. So we see two titles, new titles that we're going to have new champions crowned tonight. So we have a really good matchup in the beginning, of course, starting off for the six-pack challenge. We have Becky Lynch. We have Natty versus Naomi coming out, with her new entrance and all. We have Alexa Bliss as well as Carmella. And we have Nikki Bella basically rounding out the six women in this match. Now, this was a good match up. Each woman had a chance to kind of do her move set and get some moves in. There's six women, so it's going to be trying get all women in to actually put on a good performance. I thought this with six women, it was a good matchup, and within a six-pack challenge is whoever gets pinned gets eliminated, and the last one in wins the new SmackDown Women's Championship. So it boils down to the eliminations as they are in this order. First off, we see that Naomi gets the first pinfall against Alexa Bliss, eliminating her first. And then right after that, Natty picks up the second elimination that she eliminates Naomi with the sharpshooter, and then we see that Nikki Bella ends up defeating Natalia, and just as goes out and eliminates Natalia, Carmella ends up pinning Nikki Bella by holding the tights up for your fourth elimination, which leaves us with the final two, Carmella versus Becky Lynch. And it was sort of picked Becky Lynch. We thought would probably might come out with this one since she had worked so hard. But it was a good, a decent final two, Carmella and Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch does get her submission move on Carmella. Carmella has no choice but to tap, allowing Becky Lynch to become the first SmackDown Women's Champion. So she was very emotional in the ring. This was a good crowd, and I will say this about the crowd. I thought the crowd, whatever it was doing, was actually involved in this pay-per-view. A lot of times a crowd can make or break a pay-per-view, and I thought they were really pretty much in this being a 3-hour SmackDown pay-per-view. But I thought the crowd was really good into this match and as the other matches going on. So just a little side note to that. But congratulations, Becky Lynch, the new SmackDown Women's Champion. So we cut to a backstage segment where we see The Miz. He walks up on what would be his dressing room, but we see the kid star Jagger Eaton, and Miz goes back and forth with him. Makes a little joke about inviting Miz if they can't get John Cena, which he shuts the door and says, "I'll have my people call your people," right in Miz's face, and the Miz just leaves. So then after that, there is a backstage segment. We see where Randy Orton is lying on the ground. Now, this is a tidbit before the pay-per-view and an update. Before the pay-per-view, they did announce, Dave Meltzer did announce that Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, which was scheduled to happen as match, wasn't going to happen. And they said this was for an undisclosed injury. And some people were speculating, was it probably a concussion still residing from when Brock faced him at SummerSlam? So we kind of see a segment forming backstage where Bray Wyatt is repeatedly slamming Randy Orton's ankle into his leg in the door, and the referees have to go out and break it up, and Bray just sits down against the wall laughing. So we go to an ending. So apparently that's how they're basically going to call the match off, is through this injury angle with Randy Orton. So we're not going to see that happen. Up next, folks, we see a second chance match and the winner faces the tag team of Heath Slater and Rhino in the finals for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. This was a second chance matchup because on SmackDown, in case you missed it, the American Alpha was injured. Gable suffered a torn ACL. So by them, even though they won the matchup, by that it officially eliminated them from having a chance to basically move forward into the finals. So we do see a second chance between the Usos taking on the Hot Bros, which is the tag team of Zack Ryder and I think JoJo Molly is his name, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm sorry if I get that wrong. Or Mojo, I'm not sure. He still was in NXT, but if don't shoot me if I don't get it right. But it was a tag team between the good matchup of those two. I thought that it was a decent matchup. There was a lot of energy. The Usos now have turned heel. That's how they injured Gable. They did like this chop block thing on him and behind his leg, and he's supposed to be out for quite a few months, storyline wise. Usos turn heel, so you see them. They're no longer coming out to their dance and entrance. They no longer are saying what they're saying in Samoan, but they come out. You can tell they're no longer wearing that bright color outfit. They had a black top on, black pants on, wrestling gear on in the matchup. They pretty much acted as heels. A lot of double teaming. Referee wasn't looking. It was a good matchup. Back and forth. I thought that the Hot Bros actually did a decent job in this matchup. Like I said, I thought these matchups were pretty good with this situation. So we did see at one point, Mojo comes in, he gets the hot tag, but then the ending comes when Zack Ryder basically gets clipped and he taps out. So we see the winner of this matchup. The Usos get the win. The Usos now go on to later in the night to face the Heath Slater and Rhino, and the winner will get the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. So Usos move on and advance in this situation. We then cut to a backstage segment where I think, don't get me wrong, but I think it was dealing with Slater and Rhino complaining about the dip. Slater was talking about his stomach hurting. Rhino was kind of telling him, "Hey, we're live on the air doing an interview," and then he pretends like he's on Swerved and stuff. And so, a little segment there, because he was kind of, I guess, nervous that they were going into this, because not only does Heath Slater win the tag team titles, he also gets a contract with SmackDown, which is very important to him. So he has a whole lot to lose. Up next, we see a video package that highlights The Miz when he was on Talking Smack a few weeks back, talking to Daniel Bryan. And then we see The Miz and his feud through the last few weeks, and now which leads us basically up to the matchup. Now, this was a good matchup. I liked this match between The Miz and Ziggler. both of them basically put on a good show. Miz dominated surprisingly much of the matchup. Ziggler had to claw and scratch around. I thought it was a good match. I didn't like the ending because the ending came after the match that Maurice had sprayed Ziggler in the eyes with something, and Ziggler couldn't see. And then The Miz ends up getting the skull-crushing finale for the win to retain the title. But overall, I thought it was a great match. I don't see why The Miz had to cheat. I know he's the heel, but I thought it was a good match. He really didn't even need to have her assist because he basically was dominating the matchup. So a good matchup between The Miz and against Dolph Ziggler. These guys put on a good match. I applaud them for it. I actually like this match. So he retains the title, and that's basically it. So for this matchup, so we move on. Bray Wyatt is in the ring, and they're announcing that Randy is not able to compete. But however, Bray demands a 10 count out. Referee counts to 10. Bray is declared a winner. Then it's made known that there is a match scheduled for Bray, that he's just not going to walk out of there, and it's a no holds barred matchup against Kane. Kane surprisingly comes out. Those two have a good matchup inside the ring, outside outside in the crowd, chairs. Everything is used in this matchup. And, it was a really good, I thought another good matchup. And the finish we actually see Randy Orton come out. You can see his leg taped up. He's hobbled. And he comes out there and he gives an RKO to Bray Wyatt. Kane hits the choke slam. 1, 2, 3. Kane is your winner. Randy stares at Bray as he leaves. And we come to find out, I guess later updated, that they were more than what the situation was, that they held Randy back and pulled the match because they didn't think that the staples in which he had grown in yet, so they didn't want a chance of those coming out, so they decided to hit him. But good way to keep him in the match. He got physical, he got RKO on Bray, and then he left. So we see that 1, 2, 3 for it. And coming down to the matchup between the Usos and and Slater versus Slater and Rhino for that matchup for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. It was a good matchup. And the Usos carried this matchup because, Rhino got a hot tag in, and, it ended up basically Rhino gets the spear on one of the Usos while the ref wasn't looking, because Slater gets laid out with a super kick. But then Slater manages to recover, reaches over, puts his arm over, and gets the 1, 2, 3. There you have it. Slater got a new contract with SmackDown, and also is the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions with Rhino. So congratulations to Slater on both accounts in that. Which leads us to, last but not least, a great matchup. Been building over the last few weeks here. His quote, the face runs the place. AJ Styles takes on Dean Ambrose. I thought this was another great match. I really did. It was a great match between Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles. They both got in great offense on the way. AJ took some good bumps, a lot of good outside stuff from Dean. I thought this was an awesome match. They were physical throughout the whole matchup. Like I said, they went on the outside of the ring, outside the into the fans and stuff. It was a good matchup. A lot of hits, a lot of near falls, a lot of counts. But weird enough, AJ ends up to finish sees AJ kicking Dean between the legs and then hitting the Styles Clash to get the 1, 2, 3, and you have it, a new champion, WWE World Champion in AJ Styles. The face that runs the place is now the new WWE World Champion. So congratulations to him. Odd ending to this matchup. There is some controversy, and I'll come back to you on that if I hear more about it and get more details. But until then, this is Bill Mack here for your WWE BackLash results with SmackDown. Great pay-per-view overall from top to bottom, in my opinion. And I will try to come out with a WWE Raw report. So until next time, this is Bill Mack. So long.